For today's video, you'll need construction paper, scissors, a pencil, some glue, a piece of cardboard, and then optional are an Exacto blade and a cutting board. We're going to use our pad and we're going to cut out a chunk of it. What we're going to do is we're going to make the desk and the background. Next, you want to get your glue and gently and carefully put a little bit on. You don't want to put a lot. You don't want it to become too saturated. Once you're done waiting for it to dry, you can flip it over, get your Exacto blade, and cut off the excess. You can also cut off the extra with a pair of scissors as well. Remember, be careful and ask for help if needed. Next, you're going to get your second sheet of paper and figure out where is your floor. So ours is going to go somewhere around here. You're going to get your sheet of paper and move up and down and see how high or how low you want your floor, table, your bottom level to be. Now to draw your fishbowl, it's got to be round, but the top is not perfectly round, neither is the bottom. So a good starting point is to draw like a half circle, like so. And you want to figure out how much room are you giving these fish. It's okay if you get a lot of pencil marks on one side, because you can always flip it over and that can be the side that's facing upwards. The first thing about pebbles is that they're not perfect. So you can really kind of draw any shape you want and you can add them as needed. You want to cut out a strip first, kind of get how in depth you want to go. Get your scissors, cut out a strip, and then hold it up against your tank. You want to make sure that the bottom lines up right here, and perhaps fill in your line so that way it looks natural. So continue your line like so, and then cut it out. Once you have that part down, then you can start making it different, kind of wavy. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can really play with the shape of the pebbles. Just like that. Now, if you have made a mistake like me and there's excess on the tank right here, you can kind of see the tank is right there, the sand isn't quite as full. That's totally okay. You can get another sheet of paper or continue with your yellow and add that missing spot. So we're gonna add another color. We're gonna have multicolored pebbles and gravel. So once again, you're gonna wanna cut out your strip. You wanna make sure it's a little bit wider. You can do one of two things. You can either layer it where the yellow's on top or have the pink be on top. It's totally up to you at this point. If you do make sure that the yellow's on top, you want to make sure that it is a little bit bigger than the yellow. So let's see, go like this. We know it needs to be a little bit bigger, so we'll go like this and keep it here and go a little bit above. just like that. So you can cut this out and make sure you cut off a little excess. It's always better to cut off a little bit later, a little bit more later than to mess up and then need to do it all over again. All right. So you want to put this down. Next, we're gonna wanna tackle our seaweed. Once again, you're gonna wanna cut a strip and figure out how to make your seaweed. Totally up to you. We're just gonna do some squiggly lines. You wanna identify the shapes, and for seaweed, luckily because it's lots of water flowing, you can be really creative with it. You can draw it out prior or just freehand it as you're cutting it. The nice thing about seaweed also is that you can make any adjustments as needed. You can also slide it between your other sheets and other layers. Just make sure that if you do that, you add some dabs of glue so that it can stick. You're going to begin by getting your pencil and drawing just a simple little teardrop shape. Very gentle. Fish are often, the front of them comes to a point. You don't want to make it too pointy, but you want it to be there. So you're going to draw your rough shape, and then we're going to work on the tail. The tail is often about as big as the body, if not bigger. So you want to start with the fluffy, nice tail. Fluffy and big as you want it to be. Then we're going to start drawing our top fins. So pretty gently here, you're gonna go up and give it its little dorsal fin. And then you're gonna give it its little bottom fins. You don't have to worry about the details because this is just the silhouette. Now, once you've drawn your outline of a fish, you get to cut it out. Now, once again, I use an Exacto Blade, but make sure you are very, very careful. If you need help, ask for it. And if you can't use an Exacto Blade, feel free to use scissors. Then you want to get your glue and just get a little bit on. You don't want to get too much. A little bit goes a long way. Press down and let dry. As your project is drying, it's totally up to you if you want to add anything else. If a little bit of glue like this spills out, you can always just get it with a little blade and just remove it, or you can wait for it to dry. It'll dry clear anyways. But at this point, it's up to you if you want to add more or less stuff in your fish tank. One other thing that we might add is bubbles. We're going to use the blue. You're gonna get your glue and do a tiny little dot on the paper. Very small so that it doesn't get all over your fingers, and just ever so gently press down. The smaller the dot of glue, the better. And then we're done. If you have a hard time cutting out small circles, one of the things you can also do is use a hole punch. So if you can't add circles, that's totally okay. With this project, it's totally up to you to decide when you are and aren't done. But for this video, we're done.